Hey! You have probably seen and played the new Halloween updates for TDX, and you think that they are cool. Everyone has their personal preference. However, there is an issue about how Chapter 3 and 4 functioned, which made Corrupted Eradicator, Corrupted Apex, and Wretched underwhelming. Before I continue, this should not take away any cool effects or things these bosses do. They have their own, respected attacks that are unique and look cool. This is to address a situation going on with them. I am greatly thankful for the fact that they have been released, and I am also thankful for the delays because of what could have happened if they actually released it on October 31st. But the point of this video is to show criticism on what the TDX team should do in the future to prevent this from happening. So, when looking at the bosses, what makes them unique? Well, almost nothing. Wretched is a pretty unique boss which can jump anywhere around the map, which is actually pretty cool, but adding on to the fact that it's a defend the center, you are already going to have defense around, and you would be dumb to have one area not as secured as the other. This makes the Wretched ability's purpose kind of redundant, because although the point is to show a bit of new gameplay and awareness, it suffers greatly for what purpose it brings, especially in Nightmare because every side is powerful. But I cannot lie, it is pretty cool when he jumps, so maybe I'll make him a bit of an exception, but now it is time to discuss the elephant in the room. The Corrupted. These two bosses are the coolest bosses I have seen in TDX. They both have their differences, with one having a triple minigun and a rocket launcher, while the other has a cross filled with rockets. Eradicator Mark II can damage your base too and kill it if you're not careful, and Corrupted Apex Predator moves in stepping and attacking your towers. But, what is unique about them? Yeah, sure, Eradicator and Apex Predator attacks the base, but it is kind of unnoticeable until you see the base health go down, and you know that won't kill you, unless you're a Nightmare, and that's kind of basic because every enemy does that. But anyway, these two, believe it or not, only do the same thing as any other boss. The only difference is that they have different ways or details on their attacks. While I did expect Eradicator Mark II to not be as crazy because he's less than Apex Predator, Corrupted Apex is just so underwhelming, and while he does wield a cross, let's be honest, what unique thing does he do with the cross? The most unique attack for me is the rockets, but other abilities like the slam and the heal are all basic attacks. They even spoke about this when they delayed the chapters for a more unique experience, and he mentions that the update was rushed. He hyped it up a lot, ending it with an underwhelming chapter. However, we should not stay mad at them. Just because the bosses weren't doing unique things doesn't mean they weren't cool. I don't know if you know this, but their main coder is the only programmer in TDX and has been pulling so many all-nighters to push this update, and these have been happening since Endless Mode. He continued because he wanted you guys to enjoy an update. This next part of the video will explain how to apply uniqueness to any boss, and providing examples for these two, but also a little bit of help about the situation of staying up all night. To make something unique, is to make a product that is unlike any other, something different or new. 4. Boss attacks or mechanics, use whatever the boss has, or plan for it. Here are some examples. A unique thing they could have done for Corrupted Apex Predator, is make him throw the cross at the base and return back to him. Another could be him to use the cross to take the health of towers and heal himself with it. And also, make his spawn have more space. A little note to keep players always focusing. This provides more strategy and makes the player figure out what to do to beat him. And for Eradicator Mark II, since he has a jetpack, you could probably make him change places like the Wretched. Or maybe, when the original Mark II goes stealth, make it apply to the corrupted version. Another thing they should do is change appearances by a little bit. Enraged Eradicator has his helmet off in the images, but when it's time to fight he has it on. To add more flavoring to the Nightmare bosses, have their appearance have more red or something menacing and normal being purple and regular. These examples provide uniqueness and threatening ways for the player, while also giving them a unique or different feeling. What about Wretched? I will say, his second phase is pretty unique. However, what's weird is that the song has 3 phases, but he has 2. When doing chapter 3, it seems like 6 million health was too low for the song to be fitting, and the fact that nothing much was going on, which was kind of sad knowing that the GJ worked on the final boss music for 4 months. Not to mention that the difficulty wasn't even that hard. At least for me. I was able to beat Nightmare second try, with 3 other people, and we barely knew anything. A thing of uniqueness is to find ways on making an attack different or cool for a boss that isn't just slamming or shooting something. A possible example is him jumping on the base and damaging it. Or maybe at the very end of the chapter maybe the environment can change to the better. And finally, the end. About the all-nighters, I would recommend hiring someone to help manage, and give specific time frames on what possibly could be finished. This was an update that was pushed down because of the team overestimating their abilities. This resulted in the programmer, Atras, to pull so many all-nighters with John. To fix this, I would first recommend Atras to take a break. He has done a lot. A second thing is to evaluate with the team about setting a goal or time, and making sure to not overestimate themselves again. I think because of endless and tower battles, they started to think they could push out all 4 unique updates in between 5 days. So, understand the capabilities and progress the team can make to make an update, and if you have extra time, that gives extra details and not involving to rush. This mostly fixes the all-nighter issues while also not ruining any friendships in the team.